Welcome back, friends. So if you want to join the friends, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Just wanted to start out this video with showing you what I'm doing. I was just finishing up. Ooh, earth runes are starting to buy a little bit more. I was just finishing up my mud rune. Let's call it a walkthrough. And I figured that I might as well go for 100,000 mud runes. As you can see here, I have 2,300 of both, or 23,000 of both of these. And over the next week, I'm gonna have a decent amount of time, so I figured I might as well make 100,000 of these. So let's see how far we actually get. Let's see if we make it up to 100,000, because that's gonna be some pretty good money if we do. Let's see how far that goes. Hopefully, you guys all enjoy this kind of video. So it's going to take me quite a while to make all of these 100,000 mud runes, so I figured I might as well show the prices that I actually bought the earth runes and the pure essence for. So the earth runes went for 2.8 million for all 100,000, and the pure essence went for 3.2 mil. So that's a total of 6 million that I spent on supplies for this. If you check my history, the astral runes, I bought 5,000 of them for about 2 million. I seriously doubt I'm going to use 5,000 astral runes though, so it's more likely to be maybe like 500k and then maybe 40k for the summoning runes. All in all, not too much money that I spent on it. Let's call it maybe 7 million at the maximum. That's pretty achievable to have in the first place. And then we're going to be making quite a bit off all these muds, assuming that I can eventually make all them and find the time to put some effort in. Then I'll be able to be making all these pretty quickly. And there we go. We currently have 101 rune crafting, all from mud runes. Yeah, that took quite a while. We're actually almost done here, so I'll be coming back in a couple minutes to actually finish up this loot video. I'm up to 92,000. I wasn't sure I was gonna make it about halfway through because it started getting a little bit boring, but we're almost there, so I could see myself finishing this up within the next hour. Hey, so we're about to complete the 100,000 mud runes. This took it's so good looking. But it took a little bit longer than I was expecting. Well, it felt like longer. It was about 9 to 10 hours. I don't know exactly how long it took me because I did it in multiple stretches. And I actually dismissed a couple of Abyssal Titans because I had other things to do. But I finally have 100,000 mud runes. To be precise, 100,017. If you're planning on getting 100,000, I would recommend being ready for all this crafting of runes. It took me quite a bit of effort to keep going. After maybe 4 or 5 hours, I actually realized that you don't get any rune ethereal fragments, which is the reason why I was doing this. It's rune crafting, so I don't know why you don't get rune ethereal outfit pieces, but you don't. And it was really discouraging when I figured that out, but I managed to finish it up. I'm still making a decent amount of money from doing this, so let's go ahead and figure out how much money I actually made. Oh, talking about which, because bolas went up in price, their margins were a little bit weird, so I abused that a little bit and made some extra money. So mud runes are going for just about GE mid price, about 2 under, so I'm gonna undercut slightly. 59 million. I don't know. I don't really remember exactly how much I spent, but it's somewhere around 6.5 to 7 million, if I recall, that I spent on this. So we're looking at about 51, 52 million profit. So let's go ahead and come back as soon as these all sell. Right now it is 1 o'clock in game time. So we are going to go ahead and see how long this actually takes to sell. I'm hoping it's not too long. It is 100,000 though, so it could take a while. It took longer than I was expecting to sell all 100,000 of these mud runes. As you can see by the time over here, it did take about a full day to get all these sold. That's actually a little bit inaccurate. The amount of time that it was seeming to take was about I got about 70,000 of them sold in 7 hours. So I was expecting it to take about 10 hours to sell all these.
But then unfortunately I had to log off and I didn't have a chance to log back on for the rest of the day. So honestly, this is one of those things that you want to just put in there and just sell overnight or something like that, because they don't sell extremely fast, but they do sell extremely, I'm going to call it consistently. Every single hour I was checking back and they were selling about 10,000 of them. Obviously it depends on how many people are actually making these, how many you can sell per hour, as well as I was doing it on Saturday, so there might have been a little bit more people actually buying these butteroons, but all in all, pretty quick sell. I would just put it in there and just wait. Eventually they will all sell. They're a very common thing for people to buy. One thing I do want to mention is I made 58.8 million GP. That's pretty good. I can't complain too much about that. It's for about 9 to 10 hours worth of effort. It took me about 10 hours, I believe. You could essentially do it in about 8 if you were being hyper efficient, but that's not realistic all the time. I do have a guide for how to do them. I'll put it in the description. But the guide shows it would take about 8 hours, but because I was being a little bit inefficient, I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone occasionally, so that would lose me a minute or two if I had to pick up the phone or had to text somebody really quick. I'd say it took me about 10 hours. So 58 million, subtract out the 6.5 million for all the supply costs, because I had to buy rune essence, I had to buy earth runes, as well as astral runes, and the binding necklaces are almost insignificant. I did use about 70 of the binding necklaces for 100,000. I'll go ahead and show you my bank. I started out with about 90 of these binding necklaces, so that was about 70 of these. I believe I had 17 or so Abyssal Titans, so about 15 Abyssal Titans, and I only used 1.5 summoning potions, just because I would drink a summoning potion whenever I wanted to re-summon the Abyssal Titan. That way I didn't have to waste too much time. The Astral Runes, I still have 5,000 of these. I think I started out with about 6 to 6,500, so about 1,000, 1,500 Astral Runes. But all in all, it ends up being about 6.5 million. The exact numbers aren't super important with the Astral Runes or the Abyssal Titan pouches. These aren't cost too much. So if we go ahead and actually stay in our bank and deposit 6.5 million, we end up with a total profit of 52 million. That is honestly not bad at all. I cannot complain about that kind of profit in 10 hours. I think this is one of the best skilling methods that you can grind out and get a large sum of money. One thing I do want to do is show you my pouch now, because I am super proud of this. I finally hit 200 million. I'm going for a Noxious Scythe in the future, so this is getting me pretty close to the Noxious Scythe. I have a little bit more to go, but I would like to get the Noxious Scythe and the Noxious Staff before I actually start doing any PVM. I want to be able to have the tier 90 at the very minimum in all 3 combat styles. And if you haven't checked out my video already, I have me buying my first Noxious weapon. It's a tier 90 bow spoilers. It is a little bit older video, so kind of giving me a little bit of slack for the worst content. I'm hoping that I'm making a little bit better content now. If you guys like all videos like this, showing how much money you can make if you want to do extreme amounts of things, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Love it if you leave a like and a comment. As always, have a good one.